the faith, smile and keep the faith, smile and keep the faith, smile and keep the faith. Positivity is something you should have, so just stick around and tune in to Cam Davis Podcast, a place to talk about sports and elevating each other to be the greatest through different forms of motivation. Such a sensation when you finish an episode and use a lesson you learned on this rocky road called life. But take it one step at a time and everything will be alright. Alright, yeah. Believe in yourself, cause you can do it, and trust the process in your journey and never lose it, cause you are destined to be great. So all you have to do is smile and keep the faith. Just smile and keep
What's
the
up,
faith.
everybody? I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Cam Davis Podcast. You're listening to the voice, Camron Davis, and this episode right here is a very special one. It's episode 27. You already know. I got my big dog with me, David Michael Castillo. What's up, big bro?
What's going on, bro? Hey, another day, another week, another opportunity, bro. Blessed to be here, man.
Yes, I hear you on that. Now, the reason why I said this is a very special episode is because we're joined by a special guest by the name of Lance Morris. My guy, what's up with you, Lance?
What's up, big dog? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. Another day, another opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm super excited, super blessed for this episode right here. Lance, let me tell you a little bit about Lance. Lance is the youth director and creative director at Refuge Church in Conroe, Texas, man. So I'm super excited. I know Lance. We go back to high school when we were a night at Clear Falls High School. I think I was a sophomore when you was a senior. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah, I graduated in 2017.
Okay. So he was a 20. Ooh, wait. You may be 1 year. How long?
I think so. I think you were
So
a
you-
junior when I was a senior.
Okay, so you okay.
think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I graduated in 2018. Yeah, so my
Okay,
guy,
yeah.
my guy Lance Morris has joined us, and I'm super excited that he hit me up to be a part of this podcast episode, just so I can hear what he has to say and share to the people. Man, you know, a lot of people try and get on the podcast, and they talk about it and things like that. Lance, I don't think Lance, you know, I don't even think they've ever. I'm not gonna get into it, Lance. I'm not gonna get there, man. I'm not gonna go there. But Lance, I'm excited to have you on here, man. Lance is a supporter, right? That's one thing some people don't do. They want to get on the podcast, but Lance is a supporter. He likes to post, he comments, and he shares the posts and things like that. So I appreciate you on that, Lance.
Yeah, big dog. Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you on this podcast with us. So hey, y'all ready to get started?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get this thing crack-a-lacking. So, on this episode 27, right, I feel like this has become a series too, right? In the first 6 episodes, we talked about the who, what, when, where, why, and how, right? And then now on these episodes, these latter 4 episodes of season 3, we said the wake-up call, right? How are you waking up? How are you getting your day started, right? And how are you waking up to get your day started, right? And then, are you sleeping on yourself? Don't sleep on yourself. Get up, right? Get up. Don't sleep on yourself. And then also, you got to know you got to call on God sometimes. Call on God, because God will answer. He'll never hang up the phone. So the wake up call, and then we talked about on last week the challenges of life, because life is going to challenge you, right? There's been some challenging days where things don't seem to be going your way. Right? So how can you navigate life, and how can you keep on pushing and keep on going, although life may be challenging? Because if it don't challenge you, then it won't change you. That's one thing we talked about last week. And then once you realize the challenges of life, you got to hear God's voice. You got to hear God's voice. And right now, we're talking about the test of your obedience. So when you hear God's voice, the test of your obedience, are you going to obey what God says to do? Right? The Bible. It includes numerous stories illustrating the importance of obedience and the testing of faith. One of the most famous stories is the story of Abraham and Isaac in Genesis 22, right? God commands Abraham to sacrifice his own son, Isaac, right? Sacrifice, kill your own son, right? That's a test of obedience that ultimately revealed Abraham's unwavering faith and love for God. God promised Abraham that he would father a great nation if he did this, right? But then this will happen. Abraham, in obedience, takes Isaac to the designated place and prepares to sacrifice him. But God intervenes, right? That's that conjunction word, but that means everything is finna change. But God intervened, sparing Isaac and reaffirming his promise to Abraham. This story demonstrates Abraham's willingness to obey God even when the command is difficult to do so, right? One time Jesus called a crippled woman who couldn't lift up herself. He said, "Come here," knowing that she couldn't do it. And sometimes God will ask us to do stuff that we feel like we cannot do. We feel as though it's impossible, and we try to do it. God is showing us that it's a miracle happening within what you cannot do, right? The impossible turns into possible with God. There's always a miracle that's happening with God. He wants you to understand that the impossible turns to possible with him. He is God that can do everything and perform many miracles if you just have some faith and obey him. Only God will ask a man with a withered hand to stretch forth his hand. Only God can ask a dead man to come out of the grave. We got to stop waiting on God to make our miracles convenient and just do what God says do. Because faith, y'all know I'm a math teacher, faith plus obedience equals miracles, okay? Faith plus obedience equals miracles. I remember when I was a kid, right? When you're a kid and your parents say, just do what I ask you to do. I don't need you to talk back. I don't need you to give me no attitude. All I need you to do is what I ask you to do.
Your mama
right?
was good for that, boy.
Hey, she was good. She laid it out plain and clear. She laid it out plain and clear. So I remember when I was a kid, my parents tell me to do something. You just got to just do it, just like Nike. Just do it, okay? Don't give no attitude. Don't talk back about it, because my mama, she'll give me that backhand as soon as I say, bow, right there in the back of my lip, all, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it with these days, kids these days, they're so comfortable in losing their obedience, right? They lose their obedience. They're so quick to talk back. I'm a teacher, and I'm like, hey.
God bless you. My wife's a teacher, bro.
Yeah.
These kids are wild.
Wow.
They're wilding, dude.
It was something today where a kid was talking back to the teacher in the hallway, and I was like, oh, whoa. Are you gonna talk to your mama like that?
Yeah.
Some of them do.
I guarantee that's what
Some
they
of
said.
them do.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because they mamas, they friends, and that's a problem, right?
Woo.
They try to be their kids' friends, right? So
Ooh.
don't talk back. Obey
I got
your
a lot
authority.
to say about that one right there.
Yeah.
So I've been in youth ministry now for like 6.5 years, just about 6.5 years. Bro, the biggest problem in youth ministry is not the kids. Like, the kids are cool. Like I can sit down and have a conversation with a kid and go, bro, you're being an idiot right now.
Yeah.
I need you to chill out. The biggest problem, the parents. I can't sit a parent down. I mean, I could. I'm not going to. The elders would have a field day with me if I did that, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can't just go, hey, you've been parenting terribly, by the way. Your 13-year-old is the proof of this.
Yeah.
You can't do that, you know? And so it's a parenting issue. It 100% is a parenting issue.
The thing is, everybody got something to say, but everybody don't have something to do. Everybody will talk. But not everybody want to do. We have to start doing more and start saying less. So, man, Lance, let's go ahead and get into this thing. I'm excited to hear what you got to say. Who else say was going? David? Who's up? David?
Lance.
Lance. Yeah, Lance. Let's go ahead, man. Let me hear what you got to say.
Yeah, bro. So it's really cool. Obedience is one of those weird things, man, where when you talk about it, I've noticed that people have like weird feelings about it, where it's like, oh, bro, we just got to be obedient. And people think like, when you start bringing obedience into the conversation, whether it's a faith conversation, whether it's just a normal conversation, people get weirded out and their brains immediately go to like abusive power, right? And they're like, but should I be obedient because X, Y, and Z? And it's like, well, what if it doesn't make sense? And it's like, bro, it's not going to. It's God math, not human math.
Yeah.
So the best example is, our church, we've been growing like I'm talking like wildfire. Like, it's insane. In the last year, we've doubled in size, and it's absolutely insane. Like, insane, dude. It's like, I sit and think about it sometimes, like, bro, I got a lot of work to do. So we, about a year ago, right when the growth started happening, we were needing to move buildings. Like, the building we were in, like, at any given time, if any city official came in, they'd have to shut us down, because they're like, bro, like, if a fire happens, y'all are all dead. Like, we were putting seats in aisles. We have people like sitting everywhere, dude. It was insane. And so this building came on the market. It was like $3.5 million. And we're like, bro, we can't afford that. And the Lord was like, Nah, y'all need to go pursue it. So we talked to the people who own the building, and they were like, yeah, like we're pretty firm on the price, pretty firm. So I mean, we'll lease it to you guys for a year, and then we can see if y'all can afford it. But if y'all can't afford it, y'all ain't buying it. So okay, all right. So we move into the building, we double in size, and still $3.5 million is a lot of money. And so we start talking to the people, and we start talking to the owners and the board of directors and the people who own the building. Next thing you know, we're making deals with them. And we bought this we closed on the building 3 months ago for $1.6 million. Bro, it cut in half. It cut in half. And the Lord was just like there the whole time, like, bro, I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. We had people come out of the woodwork and go like, hey, I know y'all need a down payment. Here's the money. And it was like, because it was one of those moments where it's like, bro, we move into this building, we double in size. If we got to move out of this building, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have to set up tent in a parking lot somewhere. And so it's just those small little steps of obedience. And I think along the way, it's this beautiful thing. Cause like, I love the story of Abraham, bro. I love that story, man. I'm in the Old Testament right now. I'm in Joshua, but there's so many little things in the Old Testament where you see these little acts of obedience where it's like Abraham having to go and God saying, go sacrifice your son. That was a big step of obedience, but go look at all the other steps of obedience before that ever happened.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool to hear the people's highlight reels of man, like we just bought a $3.5 million building for 1.6. It's crazy. And it's like, yeah, that's awesome. But like, y'all don't know the conversation I had to have last week with somebody and be like, hey, bro, you can't serve with our students because you're living a life outside of church that ain't honoring to God. And I was praying and the Lord said, you need to go. It's those little steps of obedience where it's like, yeah, it's awesome, dude. Like these big things the Lord delivers and he blesses you. It's awesome. And are you going to go have that tough conversation? Hey, are you going to go? You gonna cut out doing whatever the Lord's calling you to do, even if it isn't sinful? Bible talks about it's one of my favorite verses. Just because it's permissible doesn't mean it's beneficial. And so
say that again. Say that again.
Just because it's permissible doesn't mean it's beneficial. And the closer you get to Jesus, the less you can take with you. So it's like, all right, okay, cool. So like, I'll give you the best example here. I love video games. I love video games, big dog. Like I built my own PC. Like I love it. I love playing video games. But there have been seasons where the Lord's like, you're going to have to stop playing.
Yeah. You're
going to have to stop. And I'm like, bro, but why? Like it's not a sin. Like I'm still getting my work done. I'm still providing for my family. I'm still there for my daughter. And the Lord's like, I don't care. I need you to stop. I'm like, okay, all right. And so I'll fast from video games from a season. And then the next thing I know, like, I go to a youth night or something happens and the Lord just shows up and I'm like, bro, like my heart wouldn't have been as sensitive to you as it was if I was distracting and numbing myself and doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And so it's those small little steps of obedience that equal up to these big moments. And it's one of those, okay, I got a lot to say. So if I keep talking, y'all just be like, you need to shut it down. Tell me.
Let's go. We rocking. Let's go.
So
podcast, baby.
Okay, I'll talk. I promise. So there's a verse. It's Jesus, and he's talking about counting the cost of following him. And he's talking about a builder who goes and builds a house and doesn't count the cost. And so halfway through building the house, he stops and walks away, and people make fun of him for it. And so when we start talking about this idea of obedience, have you counted the cost of what obedience is going to take? And are you still going to be obedient if the Lord doesn't give you the thing you've been praying for?
That's a good question.
Are you still going to be obedient?
Yeah.
If you truly believe the Bible is 100% true and accurate, you believe God is 100% holy, and because of his holiness, he's sovereign, and because of his holiness, he loves you, and because of his holiness, he's going to correct you, and because of his holiness, he's going to hold you accountable, and because of his holiness, because holiness at the core is 100% utter perfection. Yeah. Because of his perfection, all these other things are the byproduct of it, right? Yeah. God is not. It's a pet peeve of mine. I understand what people are saying, but when they go, God is love. Yeah, but he's also holy. And because of his holiness, he loves you. if to say that God is only love is to also like, it's like to shear away 99% of who he is. He's more than just love too, you know? Anyways, that's a pet peeve of mine. But, oh, bro, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. That sucks. Counting the cost. Are we okay with going, Lord, you're sovereign, and this thing that I've been petitioning you for, I'm okay if that never happens, Father. I just love you. I know what you've done for me, and I'm going to keep following you.
Despite not getting what I prayed for.
For sure. For sure. If we say that he's sovereign and he really is a father and he loves us like a father loves us, yeah. Are we okay with him saying, nah, sorry. What you're praying for is actually going to be your downfall, so I'm not going to give it to you.
It's all according to his plan. Yes, absolutely.
Bro, it's if he's Lord of your life, you have to give him the opportunity to make those calls.
Yeah.
You have to, and it all boils down to simple obedience. What's the next? And this is like one of my favorite things in youth ministry is we go to like a youth camp or we do like a retreat, and the kids are all on fire for Jesus, and they're like, bro, I'm gonna stop doing everything. Man, I'm not doing this. I'm breaking up my girlfriend when I get home. Like, it's like they got a lot of ideas, and I love it, bro. It's that zeal, dude. I love it. And they have all these great ideas, and they're gonna do all these awesome things, and they come up to me and they tell me all these things, and I look at them, and it's the question that confounds them. They're like, it like stops them in their tracks. Is, all right, what's the next right thing that you're gonna go home and do? When you get off that bus, what's the next right thing? What's that next step of obedience? And they got to sit there and they got to take this mountain of tasks that they said that they're going to do, and they got to break it down to what's that next right step. You want to break up, you and your girlfriend are doing things you shouldn't be doing. Hey, maybe y'all probably should drive in separate cars, or whatever it is. Like, you make it, like, if that's what you feel like the Lord's calling you to do, what's that next right step?
Yeah.
It's obedience is awesome in theory, right? But we also got to go do it.
Yeah.
To know what's right and not to do it, bro. That's in Proverbs. It's like I think it's in Proverbs. What it says is, for someone to know what is right and not do it, that's equally like that's sinful. You're responsible for what you know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I feel like I just ranted there for like a couple minutes, but
I'll be like,
yeah, bro, that's what's been on my heart, at least,
Yeah, I mean, you said y'all had to move buildings, right?
Yeah.
Even when it didn't seem like y'all was ready or whatever the case may have been.
Mm-mm.
And then also the obedience, it comes in steps. Everybody want to take this big old step to the next step of what God says do, but your obedience comes in little small steps, right?
Sure.
Taking minor gains at that each and every day. So I'm excited. Big dog, what you got for us?
Man, Lance, that was amazing, man, what you gave to us, and I definitely hope that the viewers are taking the notes, because you guys give some amazing points. You know me, Cam. I'm coming here with 3 points for the folks.
Let's go.
The test of your obedience: let go and let God. My first point, Cam, is you can't say God take over while you still hold the wheel.
Talk that.
We always say God lead me, right? But then we stress about the path, what it looks like for our plan, right? That's not faith. That's fear dressed up looking like control. Obedience is about trusting God's voice, even when the map glitches, even when it's going out, we can't see, but we still hearing what God is telling us to do. So you don't need to know every step. You just need to know the next step. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and he will make your path straight. So faith, you don't need the full directions. You just need a green light from God. Let go of the need to know and grab a hold of the one who already knows everything. My second point, what you won't let go of is what God cannot bless. We talked about the story of Abraham. So, right, you're praying for elevation, but you're still dragging around with things that God told you to let go of and drop. Whether that's moving on to a new road, leaving the old school to go to a new school, leaving a relationship that you've been in and out of for the last 10 years, right? Friendships that aren't beneficial to you, friendships that are, as Lance said, you're speaking one way, but you're living a life a different way. How is God going to continue to bless us and we're yoked to things like that, mindset and fear, right? Genesis 22, it definitely hits hard. It says, God tested Abraham by asking him to sacrifice what he loved most. That's just not the Bible, man. That's real life. God will check your heart before he opens the door every single time. God can't feel hands that are busy holding on to what he asks you to let go of. So how can he give you something even greater and you still holding on to something that's small compared to what he's trying to do for you? Letting go is not losing, but it's making space for the better.
Yeah.
Obedience provides, right? That's kind of what Lance was getting at, right? Obedience or vibes. So posting Bible verses, that's not obedience at all.
That's vibes.
That's vibes. Playing gospel music in the car, that's not obedience.
That's vibes.
Right?
Say, come on, man.
That
it look good on your Instagram story, don't it?
It looks good. Hey man, it looks for those girls. It looks good for those girls that are scrolling, trying to find a good man. Oh, he posts stuff on his Instagram.
I got me a godly man. Yeah, it look good.
We live in
obedience versus vibes. I like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's good.
But let me tell you what obedience is. Obedience is unfollowing what triggers your flesh. Obedience is choosing character over clout. I'm gonna say that one again.
I like that.
Where we live in now, oh my goodness. So obedience is choosing character over clout.
I like that wordplay.
Hey,
that's good.
Away.
That's good.
Obedience is walking away when God tells you to move. And I know this one, especially people of our generation, y'all, they don't really talk about it much. I don't know, but obedience is tithing even when your money is tight.
When the money is funny.
When the money is funny, obedience is still tithing, because that's supposed to be the first thing that comes off top, right? Hey, 1 Samuel 15:22 says, to obey is better than sacrifice. In today's world, right, God's not checking for your public worship if your private life is out of order. So he doesn't care. You can be doing all that. We can get dressed up and go to church on Sunday and have Versace suits and gaiters or whatever you put on, right? But as soon as you leave church and get in the car, you're going to do
Sunday fun day. Sunday fun day. Let's just say Sunday fun day. Yeah.
Sunday fun day. And I ain't talking about going out to eat. I'm just saying some extra stuff.
Eating something else. Never mind.
Yeah.
God is not.
I forgot it was recorded.
God is not pleased with that.
We live. Yeah.
God is not impressed with your vibe check. He's looking for your heart check every single time. So obedience is the language of real faith. I'm gonna say that again. Obedience is the language of real faith. It says that I'm not just hearing you, Lord, I'm following you. So God is not waiting on your perfection, but he's waiting on your surrender. Let go, let God, and watch him do what only God can do every single time. That's all I got for the folks, man.
It's only what God can do, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, Lance? You got something?
Bro, I love how you talk about tithing right there, bro. Because that's one of the biggest things that, like, that's the one I feel like is the biggest step of obedience that people have the hardest time with. And I'm going to share just a story because I feel like I've lived a lot of life to only be 26 years old. And so I think it was about a year and a half ago. My wife was like 8 months pregnant, and she was working for a job. It was called K-Force. And so basically what she did was she worked with IT companies and helped them fill like programmer roles, right? And she was 8 months pregnant, like just probably a little bit less than 8 months pregnant, more than 8 months pregnant. She got laid off. And so all of our insurance was through her. So 8 months pregnant, gets laid off. She didn't have a job in her back pocket. I'm gonna be honest, being on staff at a church, you don't get paid a whole bunch, right? That's not what you do it for, right? So I'm not out here making buku money. But she gets laid off at 8 months pregnant. I come upstairs because it was like a work from home job. So I come upstairs and I have a hormonal pregnant wife crying on a Zoom call with her boss in HR. I walk in the door and she's like crying, and I was like, bro, I don't know what's going on. Like, I was kind of freaked. And so I walk in, she slams her hand on the space bar and it muted her. She whipped her head around And she goes, they just laid me off, bro. And she's like sweating, crying, and screaming. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what like, oh my gosh. And so she had to turn back around and she had to finish the Zoom call. And so I walked out of the office and I sat on the stairs. I said, Lord, I'm gonna need your help because I don't know what's about to happen. I genuinely do not know what's about to happen. And so I sat there and I prayed. I pulled my phone out, like out of just instinct of like, okay, this is about to be a money thing. And I pulled up my my bank app on my phone and I saw that we had both just gotten paid. And I'm sitting there going, Lord, I'm about to tithe to you right now, not knowing because a year before that happened, we bought our first house. And so it's like, are we going to have to sell the house? Are we going to dude, everything was running through my mind. And you know what the Lord brought to my mind, like instantly was, he brought to mind King David. And he said, King David was a man after my own heart because he loved me and trusted me. And I feel like it was like him going, are you going to do that too? And I'm like, of course. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I tithed that money right then and there. And it was the hardest tithe ever. Like typically it's just like, all right, hey, just 10%, right off the top and then round up, right? And then sent it in, like we're good. It was the hardest thing. I sat there and paused and I'm like, Lord, are you sure? Like, are you really sure? Like, this is about to be an insane season. No, do it. Tithe. Next thing you know, well, like a month later, my wife is like, we're going to the hospital, right? And after my wife gives birth, on the tail end of that, there were people in our church, people from our family, and people in the community that heard about all this stuff going on. They helped us out financially. We had meals showing up at our house for like 2 weeks after the baby. We brought the baby home.
Obedience,
dude. It was insane. Come to find out, this is the craziest thing ever. We made more money with my wife being laid off than we did if she kept her job. And it was like this insane season where it's like, first off, I'm trying to figure out how to be a dad. Like I have babies for like the first 3 months. They're not really human beings in my opinion. They're just like human larvae. Like they just kind of wake up, they eat, they poop, they go back to sleep, right? They're not really doing a whole bunch. So I'm trying to figure that out. I wasn't full-time at the church, so I was working part-time at the church and I was working part-time at another job too. And then, dude, it was just the craziest season ever. But the Lord provided. He provided.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like to the point where it's like, bro, this is stupid. Like this is dumb. Like what? Like we're like it was like dumb blessed. Or it's like, how did this work? What? Like we're able to just do this and do like what? Dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
But the Lord, I feel like the Lord at the beginning was like, bro, I'm gonna test your obedience. Are you gonna tithe? Are you gonna give me the first fruits? I'll bless the rest, bro. I just need you to give me that first fruit. I need to see if you trust me.
Absolutely.
Like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was hard. It was so hard. And that's to say, that's a really cool story. Again, like, it's really cool to hear an obedience story like that, right? But at the same time, like, I can tell you 3 weeks ago, I was walking at the park near my house, and the Lord said, turn around and tell that person about, like, tell that person that you know Jesus and that, go pray for him. And I said, no, and I walked away.
Mm.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it sucks. Like I walked away from that feeling, like from that moment, just like I felt horrible. I was like, Lord, I totally just screwed it right there, dude. Like I'm so sorry. I felt horrible all day. And then I kid you not, the next time I went on a walk, I was like, Lord, tell me, I'll go to anyone. And there was this dude walking with his kid, and he's like, go tell him, like go ask if you can go pray for that guy. And I did, and it was the most awkward thing ever because the dude didn't know. Like some random mustached white boy is like, can I pray for you? Right? It was just really weird, bro. It was such a weird moment, but you win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? And that, at the end of the day, it's like it's Isaiah 66 verse 2. Blessed are those who are humble and contrite and fear the word of the Lord. Are you humble enough to realize when you're wrong?
Yeah.
And to actually go, Lord, I'm going to give this to you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. Proper repentance isn't just saying I'm sorry. It's turning your back and walking away. Are you contrite, knowing that you're broken? What really contrition is just knowing that you're broken. And do you actually fear the Lord? Do you fear him? Yeah. Like when you step out of line, do you go, like, I respect you too much to do that again?
I'm with you. Listen, Both of y'all came with some strong points that I had to jot down real quick. Lance, you just said that David loved and trusted in God, right? That's faith. Faith doesn't know where it is being led, but it loves, knows, and trusts the one who is leading, right? And so that's what I got from King David. And then David Castillo right here, he said that God is the GPS, right? So I had to think of an acronym right there. What does that mean when we say that God is the GPS? So I had to come up with a little acronym. That's the God providing system. Right, God is gonna lead you. Okay, even when your phone may die, God is still that providing system, that voice that you are hearing, right, leading you on that road. Right, we're gonna talk about that on next week. I'm gonna get into that here in a second, but we have to understand that it's all a test. Right, it's all a test of our obedience. The only reason you had to endure the loss of a job, the loss of friends, or the loss of a relationship, the only reason you had to go through the suffering of that season, the only reason that sickness was allowed to hit your life and hit your body and come against your mind, the only reason depression tried to creep in and capture you in the midnight hour and had you thinking thoughts that you knew you had no business thinking, the only reason the enemy was allowed to do any of these things, the only reason God slid the hedge of protection and allowed the enemy to touch your stuff and touch your family and touch your marriage and come against you on every side is because he was putting you to the test. It's because what you have coming in the next season is going to require another level of faith and obedience, right? What's coming in your next season when you overcome that test, when you overcome those trials and tribulations, is going to require a next level of faith and obedience. And God says, a way that I know you are ready and able to hold on to what I got coming is I got to put you through an exam. I got to put you through the test. I got to put your faith on trial, right? I need to know I need to make sure that you know how to pray. I need to make sure that you know when to pray. I need to make sure you know what to pray, right? And I need to make sure that you know that your praise can handle the level of glory that God is going to get you to so you can experience it, right? It's only a test of your obedience. Are you willing to do what's uncomfortable? Right? Lance said he went to go talk to a man when he was on his walk, right? That's uncomfortable, right? That's uncomfortable. Are you willing to do what's uncomfortable? Are you willing to do what's unpopular? And are you willing to take the road less traveled? That's what our next episode is going to be. Episode 28, the road less traveled. A lot of people are going to take the straight and narrow path. They think there's a straight and narrow path to success. But are you willing to take that road where it's obstacles and it's turns and it's maneuvers and things like that, different things that you have to maneuver through to get to glory? Because the road to success over here on that straight and narrow path is different than the road over here. The road over here is going to lead you to glory. It's going to lead you to great things on this road to success, right? So that's what we're getting into on episode 28. That will be the final episode of season 3. I promise you, we're not gonna take 2 years off. I'll be back. I'll be back real soon. Listen, I appreciate you guys for being a part of this episode right here. Man, what a blessing this was. Right? I think people understand about the test and their obedience and things like that. So I appreciate you guys for joining me on this episode. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Cam Davis Podcast. Appreciate my guy Lance Morris. Give it up for him one time.
All right. Thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Sir.
Man.
And then also shout out to my big dog David Michael Castillo one time.
Yes, sir. You know.
Yes, sir. And shout out to my producer back here with me, Caden Bolden. It's at CBFILM. You know what I'm saying? Get in touch with my guy there. He just shot a music video, didn't he? Yeah, he about to shoot a music video, you know what I'm saying? So he doing all the edits and stuff like that. Hey, you already know where you started though, huh? Yeah, the Cam Davis Podcast. All right, so the Cam Davis Podcast, as always, much love, many blessings. Y'all keep on keeping on. And of course, smile and keep the faith. I'll see y'all next week.
Have to do is smile and keep the faith. Smile and keep the faith. Hey.
What's up, everybody? I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Cam Davis Podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a like, a comment, and if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe. The most important thing that you can do is share. So please go ahead and share this video because you never know who you might impact. And as always, much love, many blessings. Y'all keep on keeping on, and of course, smile and keep the faith.